My name is Sam Carter, and I've spent a lot of my life looking at the jobs that keep our world turning. The ones that are often overlooked, underappreciated, and frankly, pretty darn dirty. And let me tell you, there's no job more fundamental, more essential, than farming. In 2025, the American agricultural landscape is a staggering testament to human ingenuity and sheer grit. From the sun-drenched fields of California to the humid groves of Florida, we're producing a variety of fruits and vegetables that would boggle the mind. It's a massive, complex, and beautiful operation that feeds not just a nation, but a good chunk of the world. We're about to take a journey across this great country and even dip our toes overseas to witness 31 of the most incredible harvests you've ever seen. This isn't just about the food on your plate, it's about the stories behind it. We're going to focus on the wins, the moments of triumph where skill, technology, and a whole lot of sweat come together to pull off something truly epic. These are the moments that make it all worthwhile for the men and women who get up before the sun and work until long after it's set. So, get ready to see agriculture like you've never seen it before. We're talking about massive machines, delicate hand-picking, and challenges that would make most of us turn and run. We're going to see how your strawberries are babied from the plant to the plastic clamshell, how a spiky, unforgiving cactus becomes food, and how farmers are using incredible technology to bring in the harvest. It's a story of hard work, innovation, and the quiet dignity of a job well done. Let's get started. Our journey begins in the endless fields of California, the undisputed king of strawberry production in the United States. Now, you might think harvesting these little red jewels is a simple affair. You'd be wrong. There's a reason these berries arrive in your grocery store looking perfect, and it has everything to do with the human touch. Forget giant impersonal machines for a moment. This is a job that demands skill, precision, and a discerning eye. It's a delicate dance performed by some of the most skilled farm workers you'll ever meet. Each picker is a craftsman, an expert in the art of the strawberry. They move through the rows, often on specially designed wheeled carts that allow them to sit or kneel as they work, saving their backs from some of the strain. But their hands and eyes are in constant motion, scanning thousands of berries, looking for that perfect combination of color, size, and firmness. A berry picked too soon is sour and worthless. A berry picked too late turns to mush. It's a judgment call made in a split second, hundreds of times a minute. They don't just yank them off the vine either, that would bruise the fruit. The technique is a gentle pinch and twist of the stem, carefully placing each selected berry into a tray. Once a tray is full, it's placed onto a larger stacking tray on their cart. Every movement is about efficiency and quality. There's a rhythm to it, a flow that comes from years of experience. You can see the pride they take in a perfectly filled flat of unblemished, vibrant red strawberries. It's a testament to the idea that sometimes the best tool for the job is a well-trained hand. The carts themselves are a simple but brilliant innovation. They act as mobile workstations, holding the empty plastic clamshells and the flats waiting to be filled. This allows the pickers to move smoothly and continuously down the long rows without constantly getting up and down or walking back and forth to a central collection point. It keeps the pace steady and the focus where it needs to be, on the fruit. It's a low-tech solution to a high-stakes problem of efficiency and ergonomics. This method ensures that what you get in the store is the absolute best of the crop. It's a labor-intensive process, one that relies entirely on human judgment. In an age of increasing automation, the strawberry harvest remains a stubbornly human endeavor. It's a reminder that quality often requires a personal touch, a level of care that no machine has yet been able to replicate. It's a dirty job, sure, but it's also a beautiful one. So next time you bite into a sweet, juicy strawberry, take a moment to appreciate the journey it took. Think about the skilled hands that selected it just for you, working under the hot California sun. It's not just a piece of fruit, it's the end result of incredible effort, dedication, and a deep understanding of the land. It's a small, delicious victory, won one berry at a time. From California, we head down to the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, a place famous for its incredibly sweet red grapefruit and juicy oranges. Much like strawberries, the vast majority of citrus destined to be eaten fresh, about 60% of the harvest here, relies on that same critical tool, the human hand. You can't just shake a tree and hope for the best when a single bruise can ruin a piece of fruit's market value. This is another job where finesse trumps brute force. Workers here use ladders to reach the high branches, equipped with clipping shears and large canvas picking bags strapped over their shoulders. Each orange, grapefruit, or lemon is individually assessed for size and color before being carefully clipped from the stem. Dropping the fruit into the bag isn't an option. It's gently placed, one by one, until the bag is full. Then, the worker carefully descends the ladder and empties the bag into a larger bin, again, with a gentleness that seems at odds with the pace of the work. It's a slow, methodical process repeated thousands of times a day. Now let's look at another fruit that demands a soft touch, the kiwi. These fuzzy little things might seem tough, but their skin is delicate. Harvesting them is a specialized task. Pickers move through the vineyards, their hands flying as they identify kiwis that have reached the perfect size. They are plucked from the vine with a specific twist and pull motion that separates them without tearing the skin or damaging the fruit. It's a skill that takes time to master. The kiwis aren't just tossed into a giant bin, they're carefully placed into shoulder bags, much like the citrus pickers use. Once a bag is full, its contents are gently transferred to larger field bins. These bins are then loaded onto trucks with a forklift, ready for the journey to the packing house. The entire process, from the vine to the truck, is designed to minimize impact. Every bump, every drop, is a potential bruise that could make the kiwi unsellable. It's a chain of custody built on care. The common thread here is the preservation of beauty and integrity. For fresh market fruit, appearance is everything. A machine might be faster, but it can't tell the difference between a gentle landing and a damaging thud. It can't see the subtle signs of a perfect piece of fruit versus one that needs another day on the vine. This work is a constant series of small, critical decisions made by people who understand the crop intimately. So whether it's a Texas grapefruit that brightens your breakfast or a kiwi in your fruit salad, remember the hands that brought it to you. They worked carefully, deliberately to ensure that the fruit arrived on your table looking and tasting its best. It's a quiet form of quality control performed under the sun that ensures the bounty of the orchard reaches us in perfect condition. It's a testament to the fact that in farming, sometimes the old ways are still the best ways. For this next one, we're taking a quick trip across the pond to the vineyards of Italy, where they produce grapes for the renowned Valella wine. Here, the harvest is shrouded in darkness, and for a very good reason. Harvesting at night, when the air is cool, is a strategic move to preserve the grape's natural acidity. Higher acidity leads to a more balanced, crisp, and stable wine, so the timing of the pick is absolutely critical to the final product. This isn't just a matter of showing up with a flashlight. The process is a fascinating blend of ancient tradition and modern technology. The vineyards come alive after sunset, illuminated by powerful, specially designed lighting systems mounted on the harvesting vehicles or worn by the workers. This light has to be bright enough for the pickers to see the grape bunches clearly, distinguishing the perfectly ripe from the not quite ready, without being so harsh that it affects the grapes. The work is done almost exclusively by hand. Teams of skilled pickers move through the rows, their headlamps bobbing in the dark. They use small, sharp knives or shears to snip the bunches from the vine, working with a speed and precision honed over many seasons. They know by touch and sight which bunches meet the winemaker's exacting standards. Each bunch is handled with care, a potential masterpiece in the making. These hand-picked grapes are then placed into small crates. This is another crucial detail. Using small crates prevents the grapes at the bottom from being crushed under the weight of those on top. Crushed grapes can begin to oxidize and ferment prematurely, which is exactly what the nighttime harvest is trying to avoid. The crates are quickly transported to the winery, often just a short distance away, to be pressed while they are still cool and their chemical composition is perfect. The harvesting vehicles you see are more than just transport. They are support systems. They provide the light, carry the empty crates, and haul away the full ones, allowing the pickers to work uninterrupted. It's a highly coordinated dance in the dark, a race against the rising sun and the warmth it brings. The entire operation is a finely tuned machine, with every person and piece of equipment playing a vital role. This midnight harvest is a perfect example of how much thought and effort go into producing a high-quality product. It's not just about growing grapes. It's about capturing a specific moment in time, a perfect balance of sugar and acid that can only be found in the cool of the night. It's a testament to the passion and dedication of winemakers who will literally work all night to create something exceptional. Now we're back in the United States looking at a harvest that's a marvel of mechanical and human coordination. When you're dealing with vast fields of cauliflower, you need a system. What you'll see here is a slow-moving, self-propelled machine that's essentially a mobile packing plant. Flanked by workers, this rig crawls through the field. The workers on the ground are the first step. They bend, slice the cauliflower heads from their stalks with a large knife, and trim the outer leaves. But they don't just drop them in a pile. In a single fluid motion, they turn and place the trimmed head onto a conveyor belt that extends from the side of the central machine. This belt carries the cauliflower up and onto the main platform. There, another team of workers takes over. They wrap each head in plastic, place it in a box, and stack the boxes, all while the machine is in motion. It's a continuous, flowing line of production that starts with a plant in the ground and ends with a packed box ready for shipping. A similar principle applies to some onion harvests. A machine first undercuts the onion rows, loosening the soil and lifting the bulbs. Following behind, a harvesting machine with a wide conveyor scoops up the onions. As they travel up the belt, air blowers and shakers work to remove excess dirt and debris. Workers stationed along the conveyor perform quality control, picking out any rocks, weeds, or subpar onions that the machine missed. It's a perfect partnership. The machine does the heavy lifting, and the humans provide the final critical eye for quality. Then you have bananas. This one is less about conveyor belts and more about raw strength and teamwork. Harvesting bananas is a two-person job that looks like a choreographed routine. One worker, the cutter, uses a long pole with a curved blade to slice through the thick stem of a massive banana bunch, which can weigh over 100 pounds. As the bunch begins to fall, the second worker, the backer, steps in to catch it on their shoulder. This is not a gentle catch. It's absorbing the full weight of the falling fruit. Once the backer has the bunch securely on their shoulder, they carry it, often at a brisk walk or jog, to a nearby overhead cable system. These cables run throughout the plantation. The backer hangs the bunch onto a hook on the cableway, which then transports it to the packing station without the fruit ever touching the ground. This prevents bruising and contamination. It's an incredible display of strength, timing, and trust between the cutter and the backer. These methods, while different, all share a common goal: moving a massive volume of produce from the field to the packing stage as quickly and efficiently as possible, while minimizing damage. Whether it's the mechanical ballet of the cauliflower harvester or the sheer athleticism of the banana teams, it's about smart systems. It's about breaking down a monumental task into a series of manageable, flowing steps. It's ingenuity in action, turning a potential logistical nightmare into a smooth, productive operation. Some harvests are just more dangerous than others. Take the durian, the so-called king of fruits. If you've ever seen one, you know why. It's a large, heavy fruit covered in a formidable armor of sharp, hard spikes, and it grows high up in trees. Harvesting durian isn't for the faint of heart. It requires skill, agility, and a healthy dose of courage. Workers have to climb these tall trees, sometimes dozens of feet into the air. Once they're in position, they have to carefully cut the fruit loose. But the real challenge is what happens next. You can't just let a 10-pound ball of spikes fall to the ground. It would be destroyed, and it could seriously injure anyone below. So, teams on the ground stand ready with large nets or tarps. The climber calls out, and the ground crew positions the net to catch the falling fruit. It's a high-stakes game of catch that requires perfect communication and timing. One mistake can lead to a painful injury. And everyone, both in the tree and on the ground, wears a hard hat. That's not a suggestion, it's a necessity. The durian is notorious for falling on its own when ripe, and getting hit by one is no joke. This is a harvest where you constantly have to be aware of your surroundings. It's a dirty job that comes with a very real element of danger, all for a fruit that people either love or despise for its unique aroma. Now let's switch from the trees to the ground with the sweet potato harvest. This might seem tame by comparison, but it's an operation built on speed and endurance. The process starts with a tractor pulling a digger that churns up the soil and lifts the sweet potatoes to the surface. This is where the human element becomes absolutely critical. A large crew of workers follows the digger, moving fast. They bend down, grab the sweet potatoes from the loose soil, and with a quick flick of the wrist, brush off the excess dirt. Then the magic happens. Instead of carrying the potatoes to a bin, they form a human chain. The potato is passed from hand to hand, down a line of workers, until it reaches the last person, who carefully places it into a large collection bin on a truck moving alongside them. It's an incredible sight. A river of sweet potatoes flowing from the ground to the truck, powered entirely by human hands. This hand-to-hand method is shockingly fast and efficient. It minimizes the amount of walking and carrying each individual worker has to do, allowing them to maintain a blistering pace for hours. It also reduces damage to the sweet potatoes as they are handled relatively gently compared to being scooped up by a machine. It's a low-tech, high-efficiency system that relies on teamwork and rhythm. It's proof that sometimes the simplest solution, when executed with precision and cooperation, is the most effective one. In agriculture, timing and standards are everything. Let's look at celery. When you buy a bunch of celery, it's clean, uniform, and ready to eat. That's no accident. The harvest happens right there in the field. A specialized harvesting rig, similar to the one for cauliflower, moves slowly through the rows. Workers walk alongside it, armed with long, sharp knives. They are the arbiters of quality, the ones who make the first and most important cut. With a practiced eye, they select only the stalks that meet specific size and quality standards. They slice the plant at its base, just below the soil line. Then, in a few quick motions, they trim the roots and outer stalks, creating that familiar bunch of celery you see in the store. This freshly cut and trimmed bunch is then placed on a conveyor that takes it up to the packing station on the machine. There it's washed, bundled, and packed into boxes, all before it ever leaves the field. It's an assembly line in motion. Now let's consider the prune. A prune is just a dried plum, but not any plum will do. For a plum to become a prune, it needs to be harvested at the absolute peak of its sugar content. Pick it too early and it won't be sweet enough. Pick it too late and it might have already started to spoil on the tree. This requires careful monitoring of the fruit. Farmers use instruments to test the sugar levels or bricks of the plums to pinpoint the perfect moment to start the harvest. Once that moment arrives, it's all hands on deck. Mechanical tree shakers are often used to vigorously shake the trees, causing the ripe plums to rain down onto a catching frame spread out below. This method is fast and efficient, allowing a small crew to harvest a large orchard in a relatively short time. The collected plums are then quickly transported to be dried, locking in that sweetness that was so carefully timed. It's a harvest that is completely dictated by the internal chemistry of the fruit. And for something really unique, let's look at the nopal cactus, also known as the prickly pear cactus. Here they harvest the pads, not the fruit. And the criteria are incredibly strict. Harvesters are looking for pads, or nopals, that are a specific shade of bright green, are between 6 and 8 inches long, and have a firm but tender texture. A pad that's too old will be tough and fibrous. One that's too young won't have the right flavor. Workers use sharp knives and tongs to carefully slice the chosen pads from the main cactus plant. They have to be careful to avoid the plant's sharp spines or glochids, which can be a real pain, literally. Each pad is inspected and selected individually. It's a harvest that requires not just skill and a tough pair of gloves, but a deep knowledge of the plant itself. It's about selecting for perfection, whether it's the crispness of celery, the sweetness of a plum, or the precise texture of a cactus pad. If harvesting nopal cactus pads sounded tricky, let's talk about their fruit, the prickly pear. These things are covered in tiny, hair-like spines called glochids that are designed to detach and embed themselves in your skin. They are notoriously irritating and difficult to remove. So how do you harvest thousands of them? Very, very carefully. Harvesters arm themselves for battle with thick, heavy-duty gloves and long metal tongs. They move through the cactus groves, using the tongs to gently twist the ripe, colorful fruit from the pads. The goal is to detach the fruit without squashing it and without getting a handful of spines. The ripe fruits are then carefully placed into buckets. It's slow, meticulous work that requires a steady hand and a great deal of respect for the plant. There's no rushing this job if you want to come out of it without looking like a human pincushion. Now, let's shift to another famously spiky fruit, the pineapple. Pineapple fields stretch for miles under the hot sun, and the plants themselves are low to the ground with sharp serrated leaves. Workers have to wade into this sea of spikes to get to the fruit. They wear protective clothing, including thick leggings and gloves, but it's still tough, scratchy work. The harvest is a masterclass in speed and efficiency, driven by a very specific technique. A harvester will identify a ripe pineapple, grab it by its leafy crown, and with a swift, powerful twist, break it from its stalk. But here's the amazing part. Without breaking stride, they will toss the pineapple, which can weigh 5 pounds or more, over their shoulder. They're not just tossing it randomly, they're aiming for a large basket or conveyor boom that follows them through the rows. It's an incredible display of accuracy and rhythm. Imagine doing that all day, bend, twist and throw over and over again, all while keeping pace with the rest of the crew. The basket on their back is a common method, a simple but effective tool. A worker will fill the basket, which can hold 50 or 60 pounds of fruit, then head to a larger collection bin to empty it before rejoining the line. The pace is relentless, a continuous flow of fruit from the plant to the bin. The throwing technique is particularly impressive. It has to be precise enough to land the pineapple in the basket, but gentle enough not to bruise it. It's a skill born of endless repetition. This is a harvest that combines the physical endurance of an athlete with the hand-eye coordination of a quarterback. It's a tough, dirty job that demands a unique set of skills to conquer the pineapple's natural defenses and bring it to market. Some harvests require you to go up, way up. Date palms can grow to be 75 feet tall or even more, and the heavy bunches of dates are clustered right at the top, nestled among the sharp fronds. Getting to them is the first major challenge. Forget ladders, this job requires heavy machinery. Harvesters use specialized hydraulic lifts, basically a cherry picker designed for agriculture, to raise a worker up to the crown of the palm. Once they're at the top, the work is delicate. The worker, secured in the basket of the lift, has to carefully cut the massive date bunches, which can weigh 40 pounds or more, and lower them down or place them in a container on the lift. It's a job that requires a head for heights and a steady hand. They are exposed to the elements, high in the air, performing a task that is both physically demanding and requires a gentle touch to avoid damaging the valuable fruit. From the heights of the date palm, let's go to the vineyards of California, but this time for raisins. Raisins are dried grapes, and the drying process can actually begin right on the vine. A technique called dried on the vine, or DOV, involves cutting the canes of the grapevine and simply leaving the grape clusters to hang and dry naturally in the sun and dry air. This concentrates the sugars and develops that classic raisin flavor. When the grapes have transformed into raisins, it's time to harvest. This is where machines take over in a big way. A mechanical harvester straddles the grapevine row and uses vibrating rods to shake the dried fruit loose from the vine. The raisins fall onto a conveyor system, are carried up and then run through a series of fans to blow away any leaves or debris before being collected in a bin. It's a gentle shake, just enough to release the raisins without pulverizing them. Now let's get back down to earth for one of America's staple crops, the potato. After a machine called a windrower digs up several rows of potatoes and places them in a single line, the main event begins. A massive potato harvester follows, scooping up the potatoes in a whole lot of dirt. This is where the onboard sorting process begins. The potatoes are carried over a series of clanking metal chains and rollers that shake the loose dirt free. But machines can't get everything. So, on that same harvester, you'll find a team of workers. They stand at sorting tables as the river of potatoes flows past them. Their job is to perform triage at high speed. They pick out any remaining rocks, dirt clods, vines, and green or rotten potatoes, ensuring that only the good stuff makes it into the storage bin at the back of the machine. It's a loud, vibrating, dirty workplace that is absolutely essential for a clean, high-quality harvest. Not everything we harvest is for eating. Let's look at cotton, the fabric of our lives. Modern cotton harvesting is a mechanical marvel. The most advanced machines, called cotton strippers or pickers, roll through the fields and do something amazing. A cotton picker uses rotating spindles or brushes that pluck the fluffy cotton, known as lint, right out of the plant's boll or protective case. It's designed to grab the soft fiber while leaving the plant and the tougher boll behind. These machines are more than just pickers, they are mobile processing plants. As the cotton is collected, it's separated from any seeds, leaves, or stems that came with it. Then, the most incredible part, the machine compresses the harvested cotton into massive, round bales. Some models even wrap the bales in plastic on the fly. You can see them drop these giant marshmallow-like bales in the field, ready to be picked up and sent to the gin. It's a completely self-contained system. From the industrial scale of cotton, let's move to the delicate world of flowers, starting with roses. Harvesting roses for the floral industry is a job that demands a gentle hand and a keen sense of timing. This is done entirely by hand. Workers move through greenhouses or fields armed with sharp clippers inspecting each bud. They're looking for roses at the perfect stage of bloom, not too tight but not yet fully open. This ensures the rose will have a long vase life after it's sold. Each stem is cut to a specific length and the lower leaves are often stripped off right there on the spot. The cut roses are then immediately placed in buckets of water to keep them fresh. It's a race against time to preserve their beauty. This is a harvest measured not in tons, but in the perfection of each individual stem. It's a quiet, focused job that brings a little bit of beauty into the world. Similarly, the lavender harvest is all about preserving the plant's essential qualities, its vibrant color and powerful scent. Depending on the scale, lavender can be harvested by hand with sickles or with specialized mechanical harvesters. The key is precision. The cuts have to be made at the right point on the stem to encourage future growth and to get the best part of the flower, where the essential oils are most concentrated. Whether by hand or machine, the goal is to cut the lavender stalks cleanly without shattering the delicate flower buds. The harvested lavender is then bundled and transported for drying or distillation. The scent of a lavender field during harvest is something you'll never forget. It's a sensory experience, a harvest that is as much about aroma and aesthetics as it is about volume. It's a reminder of the incredible diversity of what our land can produce. Let's wrap up our tour by looking at the sheer power of modern harvesting technology, especially when it comes to feeding a nation. Take cabbage, for example. While some is still hand-cut, many large-scale operations use incredible machines that are custom-built for the task. These harvesters use a sharp, disc-like blade that runs just under the soil to cut the cabbage head from its roots. Once cut, the cabbage is lifted by a system of belts or soft rollers onto a conveyor. As it travels into the machine, it might be automatically cored and trimmed by other mechanical components. Workers on board do the final quality check and packing. This allows for an entire field of cabbage to be harvested, processed, and boxed in a continuous automated flow. It's a perfect example of engineering solving the problem of scale. And then there's corn, specifically sweet corn, the kind you eat off the cob. The sweet corn harvester is another specialized beast. It moves through the rows, and instead of shelling the corn like a combine would for field corn, it uses snapping rollers to gently pull the entire ear from the stalk. The ears are then carried by a conveyor belt to a wagon or truck driving alongside the harvester. It's a carefully designed process to keep the tender kernels intact. The scale of this operation is mind-boggling. These machines can harvest multiple rows at once, moving at a steady clip, clearing acres of land in a single day. The logistics of coordinating the harvesters with the trucks to haul away the crop is a symphony of motion, and it all pays off. In 2024, the production value of the U.S. sweet corn industry was knocking on the door of $1 billion. That's a staggering number that speaks to our love for this summer staple. This value is a direct result of the efficiency and innovation we've been seeing. These machines aren't just tools, they are investments in productivity. They allow farmers to plant more, harvest faster, and get their product to market with less spoilage. They are a critical part of the equation that keeps food affordable and abundant. It's the intersection of brilliant engineering, agricultural science, and good old-fashioned business sense. Looking at these incredible machines, you realize that modern farming is as much about technology and data as it is about soil and sun. The farmer of 2025 is a business person, a mechanic, an agronomist, and a logistician all rolled into one. These epic harvests are their greatest wins, the culmination of a year's worth of planning, investment, and hard work, all brought home by some of the most impressive machinery on the planet. And there you have it. From the delicate hand-picked strawberry to the mechanically harvested billion-dollar corn crop, the journey of our food is nothing short of extraordinary. We've seen the sweat, the skill, the danger, and the incredible ingenuity that goes into every single harvest. It's a world that most of us never get to see, but one that we depend on every single day. The sheer variety and scale of what's produced is a testament to the people who make it happen, season after season. These 31 harvests are just a small slice of a very large and delicious pie. Every town, every state has its own agricultural story, its own local heroes working the land. We want to hear from you. Down in the comments, tell us about your favorite harvest from the video, or better yet, share a farming story from your own life or community. Maybe you worked on a farm one summer, or maybe your grandparents were farmers. These stories are part of our shared American heritage, and they deserve to be told. Finally, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the farmers, the pickers, the equipment operators, and every single person in the long chain that brings food to our tables. Your work is hard, it's often thankless, but it is absolutely essential. You are the bedrock of our civilization, and your dedication and innovation ensure that the rest of us are fed. We appreciate you more than you know. Thanks for watching.